March 1992. Before I get started, just a little warning. I am sick, so there will be coughing, there will be sniffling, there will be chewing on a cough drop. Well, sucking on a cough drop. I'll apologize in advance, but it was do the video this way or don't do any videos at all this week. And I'm not so sick that I can't do it. It's just an inconvenience for you fine folks who have to listen to me hack up a lung. All that being said, March 1992, I guess I was back at work as a Mason tender because I didn't read that much. Looks like 7 books compared to the last 2 months, which were like 16, 17 books. Let's jump right in. We sort of continue from February of 1992. The last book I read in February 1992 was The Ultimate Werewolf, edited by Byron Preiss, or however you say his name. The first book I read in March of 1992 was The Ultimate Frankenstein, edited by Byron Preiss, or however you say his name, an anthology of Frankenstein stories with authors such as Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, Kurt Vonnegut, Brian Aldiss. Just a really good anthology. As with all anthologies, great stories, maybe not so great stories, just a mixed bag. Second book, we're continuing The Ultimate Dracula, edited by Byron Preiss, or however you say his name. This has authors such as Ed Gorman, Heather Graham, and Anne Rice. Same thing as Werewolf and Frankenstein. This time, bunch of Dracula stories. Still love the covers. Would love to find copies of the books from back then. Original copies. Excuse me. Book number 3. Be Your Own Detective by Greg. I can't tell if that's a G. Greg Fallig? Fallis. I think that's an S. Greg Fallis and Ruth Greenberg. This is nonfiction. When I looked it up on Amazon to double check what it was, there's an updated version since technology and things have changed since 1992. I don't know if you're aware of that. Things have changed. This is ostensibly supposed to be how to investigate things, but looking at it now, especially when I was reading the description for the updated version, this is like a guide to stalking. Now, it does say on the cover, find out if someone is cheating or this or that. Kind of puts it in the realm of being a detective. But yeah, considering the information it gives you, it's... I could see this as a book if anyone has seen the TV series You or read the books. This is the kind of thing I could see the main character having read and taken to heart, because it could easily be used as a stalking tool. But back then, I was interested in that sort of thing, being a detective and that kind of stuff, private eyes. So I thought it would be an interesting nonfiction book to read. All right, number 4, here we go. Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. This is the first Neil Gaiman I ever read. I'd never heard of the guy. I didn't pick this book up because of his name. I picked it up because it sounded interesting. And it is. It's one of the funniest books I've ever read. I absolutely love it. I don't own a copy, or you would be looking at it right now, because I'm trying to find just the right copy. I'd love to have an original paperback release. Or they did these sort of pulpish covers, reprints of a bunch of Neil Gaiman stuff with these pulpish, gothic kind of covers. If they did an edition of Good Omens with that, I would snag that. But great book. I haven't seen the TV series, but the book is fantastic. Next up, another nonfiction, Adventures in the Screen Trade by William Goldman. This is just an insider's look at the Hollywood machine. Behind the scenes looks at how movies are made, from the production office to the sets. There's quite a bit on screenwriting. William Goldman, of course, author of Marathon Man, and magic and Princess Bride, ton of great novels, as well as screenplays for um, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, Princess Bride, Misery. Just an amazing writer, and I like these behind the scenes kinds of things. So this fascinating book. I do not have a copy of it again, obviously, or you'd be seeing it. I do have the sequel to it, or the follow up. Is it called a sequel if it's nonfiction? Which eventually you'll see when I get to it on the list. Really, really good stuff though. Love William Goldman, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. Then we have Earth Angels by Gerald Petovich, and this is about Detective Sergeant Jose Stepanovich, and he's basically fighting the gangs in East LA, but the cops on this sort of elite gang fighting squad start breaking rules, and the higher ups are coming down on them, the citizens are coming down on them, and he's trying to just do his job, make his city a better place, I believe. I really like Gerald Petovich's writing. A lot of his stuff. If you go back to some of my older videos in this series, I was reading a lot of his stuff. To Live and Die in LA, which is a movie I love. I believe he was a former Secret Service agent, so a lot of his stuff has to do with like counterfeiting and things, and this is more, I guess, down to earth because it's not the federal government. But yeah, great writer. And it'd be interesting to read this today and see how it reflects the views people have of the police in the 2020s. And then finally, I have to lean over because I forgot to grab this first. And this is a bit of a cheat, but finally I read The Drive-In by Joe R. Lansdale. What I have here is the complete Drive-In, which is a B-movie triple feature. So it has all three. It has The Drive-In, The Drive-In 2, and let's be a little more specific. The Drive-In, a B-movie with blood and popcorn made in Texas. The Drive-In 2, Not Just One of Them sequels, and The Drive-In 3, The Bus Tour. So back then, I read the first one, and it's about this huge, huge drive-in, and the Orbit Drive-In, which is huge. What does it say? Can hold 4,000 cars. And one night, while the place is packed, overnight horror marathons, this strange comet with a razor blade smile, I believe it says, passes over, and then everybody becomes trapped inside the drive-in, and just insanity ensues. I think this is, as far as I've read, one of the craziest things that Joe Lansdale has written in the best way possible. I have read the first two, haven't read the third one. Can't remember if I mentioned that yet or not. But just, any Joe Lansdale is going to be good. This is just a lot of crazy, bloody, gory, wild fun. There is a drive-in anthology in the works, I believe, spearheaded by Brian Keene, with just a ton of authors writing stories set in the drive-in universe. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's it. That was the last thing I read in March of 1992, The Drive-In by Joe R. Lansdale. There you go. Okay, I didn't cough too much. I have been sniffling. Let me suck on this cough drop for a second. My question for you this week: what iconic creature or killer would you like to see an anthology book for? In the vein of Ultimate Werewolf, Ultimate Frankenstein, Ultimate Dracula. Would you? And we'll open it up to all sorts of stuff. So if you want to say you want an ultimate Jason Voorhees or an ultimate Michael Myers, throw that in there if you like. Ultimate Creature from the Black Lagoon. I would love it. So any type of horror icon, I suppose. I feel like there might have been at least another one, like Ultimate Mummy, but I don't recall. I would love to. Well, see, I want to say I would love to see an Ultimate Creature from the Black Lagoon because that's my favorite Universal monster movie. I suppose you get the right authors. But I don't know how many stories, how much difference you would have in an anthology of Creature from the Black Lagoon stories. But hey, if anybody out there, any publishers, authors, see this, why don't you give it a try? Let's see what happens. But what would you like to see? What anthology of a character, monster, creature, whatever, would interest you? Let me know in the comments below. That's it. So if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is Eric Smith 5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH 5757. That's all I've got for you this week. So until next week, read more books.